Hello everyone and welcome to the weekly Magnum Current Affairs. I'm Jateen Bharadwaj and we'll be covering the important economic articles that were published in multiple newspapers and those articles which are important for you to be covered in this UPSC Civil Service examination, covering both prelims and mains, by the way. So without wasting any time, let's start. So the articles that we have taken are actually curated from multiple sources. What are those sources? Business Standard, PIB, Business Line, The Economic Times, Mint, Financial Express, right? The Economic Times and many other newspapers. We combine the articles from all those sources and curate them for the preparation for the UPSC examination. So the first article that we'll be taking is for the mains examination. The second is the continuation of the same article but the different topic which we are going to cover up. In the prelims topics, we'll be covering two topics: reverse repo rate. RBI has recently initiated a program for that, and of course India's external trade status. So these are the four highlighted articles that we will be covering up today. So let's start with the first article of the day, that is household income survey. Now this article was published across the newspapers. I have just taken highlights for four of them: Business Standards, PIB, which has the most important information, the Economic Times and Mint. Now these are the four articles that I have curated along with the news articles from the various newspapers in order to cover up this topic in length and breadth. Now when we say how to cover up a topic for the mains examination, it is simply that you should know the pros, cons, analysis so that you can easily write at least 150 to 250 words of answer in the examination. So today also we'll be doing the same thing. We will dissect this specific household income survey, also known as HIS, which will be conducted next year, 2026 February, to know that is this topic a potential for the examination or not. And within the same discussion, we will also highlight some of the prelims related areas that will be covered up throughout this discussion. So let's start. Now, in the 2018 UPSC examination, surprisingly, they have asked a question on the survey. The question was on the situation assessment survey, which is also known as SAS, of the agricultural household. Consider the following statement. Now, the survey actually got completed in 2019. However, the question was asked in 18 because it was in news back then. That means what idea this gives to us? The idea is that the question was asked before the survey releases proper report. Now survey was conducted, and this survey is not the first one. It has been conducted even before that as well, and survey has given some insights, and UPSC asked a question from that. The question was asking on the correct information, and the answer to this was C. The second statement is incorrect, that is OBC does not constitute 60% of the family, which means that if you are reading a particular survey, it can be asked by the UPSC in the prelim examination. So we will be looking into some of the highlights of SAS survey as well. Let's start. The household income survey. Now before coming into the dimensions of this survey, let me highlight something very important. Now in economics, income equals to savings plus consumption, right? That is, C is consumption, S is your saving. Y is your income. The alternative way of explaining this is Y equals to C plus I, where I remains investment. So that's the point. Either we can save or we can invest. Saving basically means a person may have a savings account, fixed deposit. Investment basically means that somebody may invest in the property, gold, in any kind of other wealth, stock market, mutual funds, any other instrument. So whatever is the money which is left after the consumption, because consumption is the basic requirement of every human being. So after the consumption, something which is left is saving. Now, in India, consumption based survey has already been conducted a lot. So we already have a survey based on the consumption. Household consumption surveys are already being conducted. We know what is the savings rate and we know what is the investment rate. The one thing which is missing in India, although practiced in many other countries like Australia and others, it is the income survey. So we don't know what is the income at household level. Once income is known, then we can easily understand what is the concept of consumption, which household is consuming what, and what is left for them for the savings. Which also brings us to the conclusion that once we have income survey, consumption survey, each household's savings can easily be deduced. How? We just need to subtract consumption from the income, we will get savings. So we have consumption survey, we will be conducting income survey. With both these, we will know per household savings in India. So this survey is very, very important, and it will give many benefits to us that we are now going to discuss about. So let's start with the survey, the objective, the reasons behind this survey. Now this survey will be conducted by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. That is you can say a mother department or a mother ministry for all kind of statistical surveys. It will set to launch the Household Income Survey HIS, which will start in February 2026. That is before the census. It will be conducted by National Statistical Office, also popularly known as NSO. Previously it was known as NSSO, National Sample Survey Office. Then why? This is the biggest question, that why we are conducting this survey. We are conducting this survey for a very basic reason, that is provide better picture of living standard in India. That is, what is the exact living standard of the people across India. Poverty incidence, if there is a poverty, how much does it impact each family? For instance, a family may be earning 10,000 a month but does not feel poor or poor. There might be a family which earns 30,000 a month but still feels poor. The reasons could be different, which is based on the consumption survey that we will already be conducting. Income and the wealth disparity will also be discussed in this case. That is, if there's a difference between the same household or one household to the other household, the neighborhood, inter-village comparison, intra-village comparison, within the city, intra-city comparison, inter-city comparison, interstate comparison. Consumers' behavior, that at what particular level of income consumer behaves like what. So a person earning 50,000 in village in India, his behavior will be different. A person earning 50,000 rupees in Mumbai and Delhi, his behavior will be different. Now this survey will help us to identify that kind of a behavior of a consumer. The currently used household consumption expenditure survey, right? It will help us to compare it with consumption survey, so that Y, S and C, that comparison I've already discussed, that will help you to identify what are the loopholes, what are the limitations that need to be covered up now. Targets. Average income will be calculated. It will, see, number one, it's not a census. What is a census? Census means when every part or every unit is being calculated, every unit is being surveyed. That is known as census survey. This is going to be a sample survey. So around, as far as my knowledge goes from the economic section, it will be around 1 lakh households from India. Now together we have around 20 to 30 crore households, even more than that. From that large number, only 1 lakh or even slightly more than that will be surveyed, which will be acting as a sample from an entire population. If we cover the entire population, it is known as a census. If we cover just a small part of that population, which can represent the attributes of the entire group, it is known as sample. So this is a sample survey. It is a sample survey. Both rural and urban will be conducted. Is consumption survey stopped? No. Income survey does not mean we will stop conducting the consumption survey. Both income and consumption will be conducted, and then savings will be deduced. Other dimensions, previous survey? Did we conducted any such kind of a consumption survey or income survey before? Yes. In India, we tried that in 1955 and 59, that is 9th round and 15th round of NSSO. However, it could not provide us proper picture or clear idea. That's why it discontinued and not published, by the way. Last survey which was conducted. So the last survey which was conducted was Situation Assessment Survey 2003, where income related things were included. Again, not up to the mark. So they have been trying this again and again. We will discuss this Situation Assessment Survey SAS properly just few minutes from now. Place of the survey, rural and urban income, both will be included, both will be surveyed, sample will be taken from both the directions, right? So methodology yet to be adopted. They have not adopted any methodology for that. How income will be conducted, how samples will be taken up, how possession or probability will be taken up. All those things have not been devised yet. For this, they have taken a technical expert group. This technical expert group, as it was mentioned in PIB, will be under the Surjit Bhalla. Now, Surjit Bhalla is a very renowned statistician and an economist, and he has been a member for many important organizations, including Niti Aayog and Finance Ministry, obviously. Now, this person currently is associated with International Monetary Fund, has conducted many surveys in his own capacity. So now he will be suggesting certain methodology and task, which will help us to conduct this income survey. Benefits. Now, this is, guys, mains related arguments. This is properly mains related arguments. Now, as a survey not being conducted yet, survey will be conducted next year. So we don't know what are the outcomes of this survey is going to be. So stay tuned with us. Whatever the survey's results are going to be, which is also the UPSC's focus, we will be covering that. And not only UPSC, that is also important for your many PCS examinations as well. In fact, your banking examinations, SSC examinations, and many others. Benefit. It will give better picture of poverty incidence and wealth inequality. That is one of the objective also of this survey, to identify, because see, conducting a survey to identify the poverty is one of the toughest, because every time in India, poverty has mostly been conducted on paper, or even if it has been conducted, accurate data has always been missing. Whether you talked about Lagdawala committee, you talked about Suresh Tendulkar committee, C. Rangarajan committee, anyone, we have always been skeptical about the exact data. Over-reliance on per capita income will be relaxed. Today we say that if a per capita income is above certain threshold, per capita income is per person earning what? Annually or monthly. So the poverty rate that was deduced by C. Rangarajan committee or Suresh Tendulkar committee, both of them were based on the consumption per capita expenditure. So it was based on expenditure. Expenditure comes from the income. So it was based on per capita income as well. But that does not give us the true idea, because we did not had a proper income survey. So identifying a consumption was based on the, you can say, survey of person to person, which is not the case now. Now we will simply go to a particular family, to a particular household in rural and urban area. We will ask that particular household that how and why you are earning, how much you are earning. That's it. No further survey. What is the source of their income and how much they are earning. Then it will help in understanding the pattern of structural changes since independence. Structural changes are very important. Structural changes basically means how the Indian economy is shifting from agriculture to service, from service to industries, from agriculture to industries, or from service to industries. And since independence, whatever data we had, we will compare that with this income data, and we'll try to identify and compare both to find out how much did we progressed. See, data helps in the planning. So this will also help us to identify a proper planning process in the future. Help in the performance of the evaluation of government schemes and programs. Let's say MG Narega. Now MG Narega is a scheme which helps us to, MG Narega since 2006 rolled out. We have been providing cash payment to certain adult members in the rural households. Now that's a government program. So it increased the per capita income in the rural area. It increased the consumption pattern in the rural India. It increased the prices of the rural products. Now, given these three things, did it actually reduce the rural poverty? Did that is the rise of that per capita income has actually impacted in the reduction of the poverty? Did it actually created a quality employment? Is government scheme actually beneficial? So we say MGNREGA scheme is there, Antodaya Anna Yojana scheme is there, we have self-employment scheme is there, Stand Up India, Startup India, Make in India, all those schemes, are they really helpful? So performance appraisal of a particular government scheme would be easy given this survey. Coming to the next, India would join the league of many nations like Australia, US, Canada, South Africa, where these kind of surveys are already being conducted. Now, let's not be too optimistic about this survey because this survey may have certain limitations. Number one, seasonal fluctuations. Now, there are many people in India who are employed on the basis of seasonal employment and also faces seasonal unemployment. So they are employed when the agriculture sector is on the peak. They are unemployed when the agriculture sector is on the lean. So when there is a lean period of the agriculture sector, they may be involved in MGNREGA. But such kind of things are not available in the urban areas. We don't have MGNREGA for urban areas. So there's a seasonal fluctuations that we see. That will be a tough task for the sample survey to include. Limited access to the accounts from the households of employers. Now let's say I am the businessman and I employ 5 people. How much income I am paying them on record? Will I be able to give that to the government? So honesty from the side of the employer is already a major concern. The data may be tweaked. Uncertainties in the selection of the sampling units. Let's say out of 100 families, we have selected 5 of them as a sample. Is that sample the correct one? Is that sample of 5 families represent the entire 100 family society? So selection of the sample size remains a very important issue, especially given the diversity that we have in India. Unreported income, that's the biggest challenge India has. This is true, guys. Let's say you are, or I am a family person, I have a household, and a sample survey person comes to my house and asks, how much do I earn? My first reaction would be, why? Why you are asking this? Are you from the income tax department? So I'll put such kind of weird questions to that person. I'll took it as a matter of skepticism, as a matter of uncertainty, as a matter of threat on my source of income. So I may lie. The same person who is involved in the survey may lie to the evaluator, to the assessor. So this is a very big problem. That will the people report exact or the true income, especially in urban areas where tax evasion is very high. And the lastly, difficulty in assessing various income streams. Okay, let's say a person has said that I earn 50,000 rupees a month. Really, it would be really tough because each family within a locality, within a village, may have different patterns of earning. So let's say there are 5 families and all of them are earning on an average 50,000 rupees because average income will be conducted. Now those 5 families will be having a different combinations of income sources. Let's say there is a first family entirely earning from the service sector. There's another family earning from service sector and agriculture sector. There's another family involved in the agriculture and animal husbandry, let's say milk production. There's another family which is completely a trader family. So the composition and a sample, again coming to the same point, identifying a sample would be a very difficult task. If that's not done properly, this survey will give a very, very wrong interpretation. But I think we should also all trust our NSO and our organizations because they have one of the best statisticians in the country. So I think these problems will also be solved by them in the given time frame. But we should understand this because this is a very important challenge. And if this kind of a question is being asked in the UPSC mains examination, you should be able to answer at least these 5 points and the benefits that we have discussed. Now, coming to a very important thing, the organization which is conducting this survey. This organization is NSSO. Now it is called as NSO. So let's understand about this. This slide will help you to get the idea for the prelim examinations. Established in 1950, NSSO, right? In 2019, it was merged with Central Statistics Office, and together they were called as, so NSSO plus CSO now are called as National Statistics or Statistical Office. So together they are now called as NSO. Now they conduct a survey in rounds. So whenever they conduct a survey, it is known as rounds. So 9th round, 20th round, 50th round, 70th round. So these are the rounds of surveys which they conduct. They have headquartered at Delhi. They work under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. That is the reason when NSO will conduct this household income survey, it will be conducted under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Coming to the next point, functions. Very important. You should know the functions of the important organizations. UPSC always asks questions from these areas. Number one, they conduct a nationwide survey. States, yes, they conduct state level surveys, but their main target is the nation level. Data collection, processing, analyzing, publishing official statistics report, and supporting national planning and policy. Planning and policy lies on the foundation of reliable, authentic data and most accurate data possible. Although samples have their own issues, but still, sample surveys should be conducted because they help us to plan the future, evaluate our policies. Are we doing something right or not? So NSO helps in that. How many surveys they conduct? Although they conduct many surveys, but I have given you the list. Do not forget this. That's very important. Consumer expenditure survey, very important. Very important. So when this survey will be released, the next round, we will discuss that. Employment, unemployment survey, very important. Again, we will be discussing that as well. The next round we will be discussing. Annual survey of the industry is important for your IIP, inflation and other ideas. Periodic labor force survey, which gives us the idea about the employment and unemployment in India. Urban frame survey, urban economic activities. Consumer price index. Situation assessment survey, I'll be discussing that in much detail. An index of industrial production, however, it is actually been a part of CSO, that is Central Statistical Office. So these are the major surveys which are now being under the proper heading of NSO. NSSO or journal is there, which is known as Sarvekshan. It's a biannual publication with survey results and analysis. So whatever survey they conduct under a particular round annually, their reports are being biannually, that is in every 6 months, that is being published in a report or a sample, or you can say a kind of a publication which is known as Sarvekshan. So I'm believing that UPSC is not going to ask more detail than this. We have covered even beyond what UPSC would ask you in the examination. Now comes the situation assessment survey of NSO. This is the highlight. This was mentioned in the article as well. This is something which has given us a very important insights about the rural India. Now this survey, actual name was Land and Livestock Holdings of Households and Situation Assessments of Agricultural Households. So this is the entire title of this survey. 2019 is the last one. 2018-19 was the duration when it was conducted. It provides valuable data on the socio-economic condition of farming families in India. Yes, only those families of rural India which are involved in the farming. So we all know that around 65 to 70% of India's population lives in rural India, and out of that 45 to 46% actually is involved in the agricultural activities. So only that part of the families are being covered over here. Now this was a sample survey. It was conducted around 80-90,000 families. Only families, individuals were not conducted. Entire India, every household was not conducted. It was a sample conducted by NSO. What they have talked about, they provide very important details about wage income, receipts and expenditure of rural households involved in agriculture, productive assets if they have, Do they have the debt on them? How many households have debt on them? Operational land, right? How much the land area that each family has ownership. Livestock, they have buffalo, goat, cow, right? Pigs, hen, fowl, poultry, and others. How much they have? Farming practices, are they using the modern tools? Are they using the tractors? Awareness of the technology, do they know the latest technology which is there in the market? And access to the resources, do they have access to every possible resource available by the government or the private sector? Do they have access to the proper banking channels? Do they have credit cards? So this in survey was a very important survey which gives us too many insights. I'm going to discuss 3 of them with you. This was conducted in 2019 in the 77th round. Now first finding is with respect to the caste division. All right. Now, as far as agricultural households are concerned, the majority of the agricultural households in rural India are from other backward community or other backward classes. Then comes non-agricultural households also this. So whether in a rural household, whether a family is in the agriculture or they are in the non-agriculture service sector, industry sector, trade, transportation, whatever, they are, both the sides, OBCs are at the highest. The least is going towards the STs, which means that scheduled tribe population is least involved in farming practices or non-farming practices. So where they are involved? First thing is first, their population itself is very low. The population of OBC is very high. It is more than half of the India's population. So that's the point. So that's why this survey gives us the clear-cut picture. Now, rural households, there also we have higher OBC population. Now, the UPSC question says that it was 60%. Actual data is 45%. So the UPSC questions turns out to be that statement was wrong, hence the answer was 1 and 3 only. This much detail the UPSC is asking. Size of the class, the second important dimension that I am going to discuss is with respect to the holdings. How much land area do people have? So the households which are involved in the agriculture, right, the highest percentage comes to 0.4 to 1 hectares. 0.4 to 1 hectare, that is majority of India's population which is involved in the agriculture does not even have more than 1 hectare of land. Imagine the case. 35% of rural Indian households which are involved in the agriculture, they have less than 1 hectare of land. Only 0.4% of them have more than 10 hectares, which are one of the greatest or the largest farm holders. Mostly they are found in Punjab and Haryana. On the other side, the non-agricultural households, that is the household which are involved in service sector, industrial sector, transportation, trade and other things, those households have 0.01. Now basically guys, this area that you see over here, what are these? This is not the agricultural households. They are the houses, construction, residential places, farmhouses. Let's say a godown, let's say a warehouse. It's not agricultural land. So basically guys, this is one of the reasons why India still remains poor in the rural India. Availability of land. And as the population burden increases on the people, as the population burden increases on the economy, this is going to be further less. Ideally, India's share should have been somewhere here. Now look at the case, less than 2 hectare. This is the population of less than 2 hectare. Less than 2 hectare. 35, 34. So around 80 to 8, around 85, around 85 to 90% of the India's population is living less than 2 hectare of. So that's why government's focus has always been towards giving the ideas, plans, schemes, benefits to those people who are involved or known as small and marginal farmers. Small and marginal farmers. Now, this is a potential topic for UPSC as well. We have seen what they are asking, what they have potential to ask. They can ask questions from here as well. And the last one is average land holdings. So the average area land holding per household, half hectare. Just half hectare is the average land holding in India per household. Now, if in a household there are 4 members, per capita is even less than that. Percentage of landless households. So in rural India, 8% of the households does not even have a land where they are living. Big question. And landless rural person is the worst life living person on this in this country. A person who is living in rural India does not have a land to live. Are they living in a rented apartment? But we don't have rented apartments in rural India. So where they are living? This is the target of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. This particular population is the target of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Average area owned per household excluding the landless. So it increases when you remove the landless. And households with no land or with ownership of holding of area less than or equal to 0.002 are considered to be landless. That means they do not have even that much of area as a place to live, and that's a very small area, 0.002. That's a very small area. So that shows this landless people is this 8%. So given this understanding, guys, I'm leaving you with these 2 questions for your prelims practice. So this is question number 1 based on NSSO. This is question number 2. So do solve these questions. You can pause the video, you can solve these questions and then come back with the answer and do comment with the answer in the chat box. This is the mains practice question. Discuss significance of National Household Income Survey, which is scheduled to be rolled out in 2026. So please go through all the benefits and the challenges that we have discussed and try to write the answer to this question. Moving ahead to the next topic. Now this is the next topic. So we have completed both the mains topic in that single topic. Now we'll be covering with the prelims one. Now this topic is with respect to the reverse repo. RBI is scheduled to conduct a 7-day auction of 1 lakh crore to absorb excess liquidity from banking system. So there is an excess liquidity. Excess liquidity means there is an extra cash which is there in the Indian banking system. If it is there in the Indian banking system, it may go in the hands of the consumer, obviously. If this excess money will go in the hands of the consumers, it will create inflation. And we have just went under 3% of the inflation. It's a very ideal inflation for India right now. So RBI does not want to take risk to increase the inflationary pressure. They've already reduced the repo rates. So this gives a sign that even RBI is optimistic about the future. So they don't want to take risk. This article we have taken from the business line. Another article which was published on in the Financial Express has the same thing, that RBI to conduct 1 lakh crore of reverse repo. Now this reverse repo, what is this? Why RBI is conducting that? What happens if reverse repo is increased or reverse repo is decreased? Let's start with that. So reverse repo or repo is part of liquidity adjustment facility. Now our previous year questions have been asked, as you can see. So we are in line. This discussion, this class, this current affair discussion is completely in line with what UPSC has been framing up. If RBI decides to adopt expansionist monetary policy, which of the following would it not do? 2020, right? With respect to the Monetary Policy Committee 2017. So Monetary Policy Committee, repo rates, reverse repo rates, liquidity adjustment facility, right? Standard deposit facility, CRR, SLR, all these are the important monetary tools or monetary policy tools adopted by RBI. As a result, UPSC has this topic to be a very frank, very friendly topic for the examination. So in the similar line, we will now be conducting what is LAF. So what RBI is supposed to do? The context of the article. The context of the article says that after 7 months, RBI has decided to deploy variable rate or reverse repo to suck out excess liquidity from financial system. Excess liquidity means excess cash. How much excess? There's a liquidity surplus of 2.76 lakh crore, right? You can imagine the zeros in that. That is the surplus that we have. Out of this, out of 2.76 lakh crore, 1 lakh crore will be sucked out, will be taken away from the banking sector by RBI. Because RBI injected 9.5 since January. So RBI has injected a lot of liquidity to push the demand through reduction in the repo, through dear money monetary policy, right? So in this case, expansionary monetary policy that RBI has been using since January, now they want to go a step back, because if they don't, there will be inflationary pressure. What is VRRR? That is variable rate for reverse repo. What is that? Under this, bank deposits extra surplus funds. So see what I am seeing. The 1 lakh crore is excess in the banking system, not in our hand. It's not in my hand, it's not in your hand. The excess liquidity is in the hands of banking system. SBI, ICICI, many other banks, they have extra money. Now this extra money will now be taken by RBI. But why would a bank put its own money with RBI? Because RBI will offer them extra interest. So the banks will be encouraged to keep or to park their extra surplus funds with RBI under this reverse repo. So let's understand this. Liquidity adjustment facility. Now it has two different parts. First one is repo or repurchase agreement. The second one is the opposite of this, that is reverse repurchase agreement. Under repo, banks sell securities to RBI and avail loan. Simple. I want a car loan. I will go to a bank. I will give my documents and I will take the loan. Similarly, if SBI wants loan from RBI, because RBI is bankers to bank. So if SBI wants loan from RBI, they have government securities in their pocket. These government securities were previously given by RBI to these banks. So the banks which were earning interest on those securities will now keep those securities means government securities, government papers, treasury bills and others, with RBI and avail loan. Whenever we take loan, we pay interest. So here also, when a bank takes loan from RBI, they will pay interest. Where it is mentioned, RBI Act 1934, the proper act, the act on the foundation of RBI is laid. Who can avail? Scheduled commercial banks, regional rural banks, primary dealers. Component, what the bank can keep. The bank can keep dated bonds, treasury bills, cash management bills, state development loans, and the minimum limit is 5 crore. So at least 5 crore should be taken under repo. During inflation, tight monetary policy, high repo will be there, obviously. If bank don't want to give us the loan, they will increase the rate of interest. If RBI does not want to give the loan to SBI during the monetary inflation, they will just increase the repo. Normally, securities above SLR are used. So SLR means statutory liquidity ratio, in which banks keep their assets in highly liquid areas. They keep their money in highly liquid assets like gold, treasury bills, bonds and others. So usually they don't use that, because if they use that, their limit of the SLR will be less and they will be fined for that. They'll be charged for that. So they avoid that. When you go reverse, now in this case, SBI was taking loan from RBI. Now the other case is reverse, that is reverse repo. Here SBI will offer loan to RBI, or RBI will tell SBI to give money, right? Not give money back, give money. Rate at which RBI take loans from bank. This is how it is being pronounced. Banks offer loan to RBI, that may also be the case. Now this also and reverse repo also, they both are of two types, fixed and variable. Now fixed is the word itself means when the rate of interest remains fixed. Variable is the one when the rate of interest changes. So we have fixed repo, we have fixed reverse repo, we have variable repo, we have variable reverse repo. The article was on this. So this is the point where the article was actually mentioned. Let's understand that. Now, what is fixed repo and what is variable repo? You should have idea of both. Fixed repo. Rate of interest is linked to repo rate. Duration is 1 to 3%, so it will remain fixed. Types: long-term, targeted, and special long-term repo. LTRO is long-term repo operations, or special for small finance bank. So different kind of audience are there, different kind of customers are there. For them, different kinds of repos are available. Duration remains 1 year to 3 years. Minimum 1 year should be there. So if, let's say, small finance bank goes to RBI to avail loan, minimum 1 year, and for 1 year it will remain fixed. All right. Variable is a small things. So rate of interest changes very quickly within few days. That's why it's variable. Rate of interest is determined by auction process. It is not fixed. Here it was fixed. RBI will say this is the repo rate and they have to abide by that. Here, if more of the people are coming to avail the loan, or more banks are coming to provide the loan, there will be a bidding process. There will be an auction. More the amount of money, lower will be the rate of interest, which you can easily understand. Given this, the duration can be 1 day, 7 day, 14 day, and up to beyond that. Usually it is 14 days. But in the news article, it was for 7 days, just for 7 days, just for 1 week. The window will open. LAF, liquidity adjustment facility window, is not available 24/7. It is on the RBI's discretion. So now RBI has the authority to start it or end it. So this Friday, RBI opened this window and it will remain open for 7 days. And for 7 days, this RBI will take money from the banks. How much money will they take? 1 lakh crore. What is the rate of interest will be decided by the auction. So this is what your variable repo rate is all about. Now let's understand two cases: increase of repo, reverse repo, and decrease of reverse repo. When there is increase of repo rate, these are the steps that will take place. Number one, banks find it more attractive to deposits. Obviously, if the repo rate, if the reverse repo is increased, for SBI, just take your customer, just take this bank to be SBI. So SBI will keep its extra funds which were lying idle, will keep that extra funds with RBI. It will reduce excess liquidity with SBI. SBI will have less cash. Banks have less money available to lend. So if a customer goes to SBI to avail the loan, they will reject him. Lending rates, right? All this tend to increase because as they have less money in their pocket, they will choose the customers and they will increase the rate of interest. When the rate of interest are increased, borrowings become more expensive. So out of 10 customers, only 5 of them will take the loan. It will reduce the credit availability. Finally, credit will be dispersed only to 5 customers. Lower investment and consumption spendings. So out of 10, only 5 of the customers have taken the loan. So they will invest less in the economy. They will consume less. They will spend less. Slowdown in the economy activity or growth may take place. Now this is just to slow down something. I told you na, why they are sucking out 1 lakh crore. They are apprehensive that inflation might take place in the future. So this is a preemptive strike. It helps in controlling inflation, but this time it is preemptive. RBI is thinking it is going to do it beforehand. Impact the bond market. Higher RRR may lead to higher yields on the government securities. Obviously, they become more attractive. We'll have this discussion on the bond yields. There's a specific video on our channel. You can go to that video and you can understand how the bond yields actually works. What is the relationship between the rate of interest and the bond yields? There's a proper channel for that. But please understand, at this point of time, this is a current affair discussion. Bond market, higher rate of interest, higher reverse repo rate means the government securities will yield higher returns. Attract foreign capital inflow because rate of interest will increase. So foreigners will invest more in India. Potential appreciation of the Indian rupee. Appreciation of the Indian rupee because dollar inflow will increase. Now their RBI role will again come. So here RBI will bring its role as a foreign exchange manager. as a foreign exchange manager. The same will happen, the reverse case. Let's say there is a decrease in the reverse repo. Decrease. So let's understand. Decrease in reverse repo. Same thing will happen, but on the opposite direction. Banks find it less attractive to deposit with RBI. So they will say, tell this to the RBI, but we don't want to keep money with you. Even if you open the window for a reverse repo, we don't have money to keep with you because rate of interest is very less. And we don't find it attractive to put it over there. They have excess liquidity. Our SBI will have more money with them. They will have more money to available. So 10 customers are coming for the loan. They are calling 15 of them. They are making calls to the customers. Lending rates will decrease. They are giving cheaper loans. It happens during the festival seasons like Diwali and others. Borrowing becomes cheaper. Increased credit availability. Investment and consumption spending starts. People start buying house, car, credit cards and other things. Stimulate economic growth. This has happened. This is taken up when there is a, you can say, subdued economic development. Let's say COVID is coming up, some war happened across the world, and if there's a slowdown in the Indian economy, this initiative will be taken up. It may lead to the inflationary pressure by increasing money supply and demand. Previous one, we want to reduce the inflation. In this case, it will increase the inflation because more money is there with the people. Impact bond market. Okay, lower RRR may also lead to the lower yield on the government securities. Again, I am telling you, if you want to learn more on that, there's a specific video on government bond yields on our channel. May lead to the foreign capital outflow and potential depreciation of Indian rupee because there is a more rupee in the pocket of the people. More rupee, less dollar. That means rupee depreciation, which is happening recently. But please understand that recently, when RBI announced that it will suck out extra 1 lakh crore, all of a sudden Indian rupee strengthened and the exchange rate appreciated. It appreciated with a very small number, that is 0.44, but it appreciated. So that is the entire cycle that I have discussed. The first step, RBI changes something. The last step, the rupee appreciates. So these are the practice questions, guys, for you. Question number 1, you can pause the video, read the question thoroughly and answer in the chat box. Secondly, this is the second question. Go through the question, read it again and answer in the chat box. I hope to see more and more answers from your side. Now coming to the last article for the day. The last article is with respect to the balance of trade. Now balance of trade, recently a lot of data was published with respect to India's balance of trade. Now balance of trade is, by the way, a part of balance of payment. Now we have balance of payment, popularly known as BOP. In BOP, we have balance of trade, which is part of current account, basically. Now balance of trade is actually the part of goods and services. But do you know what goods and what services? What are goods and what are services? Which services are included and which are excluded? Because this is something which UPSC is keen to ask in the prelim examination, and even the many state PCS examinations, these kind of questions have been asked. So let's understand that. The article says that India has the current account saving, right, swings to surplus after 3 quarters. 3 quarters mean 9 months. So the report was published in Business Standard and many other newspapers. It says we have current account surplus, which means exports have outnumbered imports. Exports have outnumbered imports. That's why we have surplus. We are earning more from outside than we are sending to others. Now, given this discussion, these are the previous year questions. The question was asked in 2020 with reference to the international trade. Then 2023, just 3 years after that. And by the way, this time they are asking the percentage wise share of these questions. Statement based question, it was a bit difficult question, but don't worry. We have a kind of a discussion which will help you out to answer these kind of questions in the future. Let's start. So what was mentioned in the article? The article says that India's current account balance, that is export is more than import. Export of goods and services, not capital. This is not capital account, this is current account. It includes merchandise trade and services. So the surplus of goods and service exports is over and above the goods and service import. The balance have posted a surplus of 13 billion, that is 1.3% of India's GDP. $13 billion, $13.5 billion is roughly around 1.3% of India's GDP during the fourth quarter of this financial year that ended January to March. Why there is a surplus? So I told you this export includes export of goods also, export of services also. So out of goods and services, which was surplus? Service. So because of the higher service exports, there was a surplus. Let's understand this and dissect it. Now this is the graph which was mentioned in the article as well. Now look at this. This is the zero line. Now when I say zero line means neutral. Anything above this shows surplus. Surplus means at this point export is more than import, then at this point, and now at this point. So frequency of export surplus or frequency of current account surplus has increased in just last 4 years, thrice. This is post COVID. So after COVID, India has registered 3 times the current account surplus, and that's really good. We should be happy with that. Coming to the point, what is balance of trade? So balance of trade includes trade in goods and trade in services, both. So let's see what they are. Trade in goods, merchandise trade, import and export of final goods, not intermediates, final goods, not anything which just stopped in India, final goods. Okay, could be anything, could be this digital screen, could be this digital pen, the mobile phone that I have, petroleum products, gold jewelry, could be anything, but it is tangible thing. It's not a service. Then comes re-export. For instance, we are exporting of those goods which were imported earlier without making substantial change. Let's say I purchased a pair of shoes. I don't like it. I'm exporting it. I'm sending it back. No changes has been done. No value addition. Nothing. Something came as it is and now going back as it is. Re-import. Same thing. Import of those goods which were exported earlier. I sent something to a destination, it came back as it is. They will also be included because they should be subtracted from the overall trade. Merchanting trade, goods not enter India, no value addition. A ship was coming from Singapore, stopped at Kerala for a while. India has contributed something. It stayed in India for a while. There was a change of the goods from one ship to the other, something like that. India was involved as a party who will purchase from one place and sell it to the other place. That's it. We have not produced something. We are just buying it from Singapore and selling it to Dubai. That's it. That is merchanting. And the last is non-monetary gold. So RBI has a lot of gold reserves in the foreign exchange reserves. Anything beyond that is part over here. That is the non-monetary gold. So this includes what goods are. Let's see what are services. Services includes, right, everything. I mean travel, education, health, tourism, transportation, communication, royalty. I mean every service that we can export potentially. Then import of services, all these things coming from outside to India. Money spent by Indian tourist, that is import of service. So I am a tourist, I am in Europe, I am spending money over there. What service I am getting? Tourism. I am physically present in Europe, but I am purchasing their service. So what I am doing, when I am purchasing, I am importing. Similarly, if there is a foreign tourist in India, tourist, student, patients, if they are in India for, let's say, medical treatment, so Indian doctor is providing the service to that foreign patient. He is in India, but he's a foreigner. So we are exporting, we have sold a service. And lastly, transportation. So all Indian origin things are considered as an exporters. Flights operated between India and US, this is just an example, is considered to be export. So let's say Vistara Airlines or Indigo Airlines, Air India, right? All the services that they are providing will be included in this because they are Indian owned planes. Trade status. Now this is what in 2023 UPSC has asked a question. Present status, guys, it changes every quarter. It changes every quarter. Forget that. It changes every month. You should only study once in a year. Now, as the financial year has ended, we are reading it. It was not available in your survey, economic survey, because economic survey publishes on last day of January, and at that point of time, the entire data till March was not available. So for the financial year 25, current account deficit has moderated to 23 billion, which is 0.6%. So our current account deficit overall in the year, it was surplus in last quarter, not the first 3 quarters. In first 3 quarters, it was deficit. So it became surplus in the last quarter, but overall it remained deficit. So overall, we have imported more goods and services than we could export. The good news is it has reduced on the percentage of GDP. India's net exports mostly remains negative. This is a very because see there are two things which we import a lot, that is petroleum and intermediate goods, machines, right? Capital goods, machines, and of course the petroleum, because India's 80% of petroleum demands come from outside, fuel demand. As a result, our imports always remains high. We are going towards the energy transitions to the electric vehicles, towards green energy, but still 80% is very high. That's why it remains negative more or less. India's trade to GDP is over 45%. This is very important data, guys. Our GDP is around 4.1 trillion, 4.2 you can consider. So out of 4.2 trillion as a GDP, 1.7 trillion roughly I'm telling you about is your trade. It's really very high. We have come a very long way. 1.7 trillion is larger than many GDPs across the world. India is net importer of goods but net exporter of goods services, which means when it comes to goods, there is export is less than import. So import of goods is more than exports. But when it comes to services, import is less than exports. So exports are actually more of services, specifically IT services. So we produce a lot of IT services, software services to the countries across the world. Medical tourism. These are the things that we have now been pioneered. We have now excelled as a country. India receives world's highest remittances. It was $129 billion as per the latest data, which is highest. It is literally the first rank. So the Indian people, Indian diaspora, which is living in other parts of the world, West Asia, US, Europe, Australia, Japan, they are sending a lot of money to India. That how much it is? $129 billion. It is even larger than China. Now another second case of trade. Top 3 merchandise exports. So what do we export most? Engineering goods first. Previously it was on second position, followed by petroleum products, third gems and jewelry. Please remember this order, very important. Top 3 exports of destinations. Where do we export more? US, UAE, Netherlands. Now UAE and Netherlands are very small countries, but they import a lot from India. Exports of merchandise. Top 3 merchandise imports. What do we import most? Crude oil, 80% comes from outside. Electronic goods, especially from China, Japan, Korea, and gold. So you can say raw gold, gold bars, gold coins, all those are imported a lot. Top 3 merchandise merchanting, from where do we import a lot? China, largest. We have a very highest trade deficit with China. UAE and US. These are the top importing nations with India. So you can say UAE and US are common in export and import both. Highest source of remittances, from where does the highest source of remittances comes? UAE, US, Saudi. Saudi has been overlapped. I mean, US has taken over the Saudi. The largest remittances receiving region, which area in India receive the largest remittances? It's Maharashtra, followed by Kerala, and followed by Tamil Nadu. Because their diaspora is living, their very high diaspora is living in West Asian countries. So Saudi, UAE, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu, too many people from these two states are living in UAE and Saudi. Now, given this understanding, I'm leaving you with these two practice questions. So this is a question number 1. You can pause the video, go through that and answer in the chat box. And this is the second one. You can go through that and answer in the chat box. So that's all, guys, for this week's economic current affairs. I hope you have enjoyed the way we have enjoyed making this video. Stay connected, subscribe to us, like this video, and share with your friends who are preparing for various competitive examinations. I hope this video helped you a lot, and stay connected with us for the upcoming videos and all the important economic updates for the next few weeks and the coming months before your examinations. Hope to see you in the next video. Do subscribe to us. And if you are looking for a good economic classes and you still wonder that where can I find that? So I am Jateen Bharadwaj with many other teachers are taking an initiative to launch a very high quality foundational course in collaboration with the PMF IAS. We, all the teachers, are there. The launch of the foundation course, the course has already been launched. It has just been few days, so it's not too far for you. Let's join us, let's be part of a team and learn from the best in the industry. If you are interested in reading, right, if you are interested in going through just only one subject, even that option is also available for you. The option is that you can join an individual economy course. There will be over 50 classes, over 100 hours of discussion will be there with all the benefits which are mentioned on the screen. You can pause the video, you can go through all this program. The most important thing about this program is the largest number of PYQ coverage for both prelims and the mains, and one-to-one mentoring which will be given to you on call, so you can connect with me in this specific course and stay connected till your preparation. So 2 years of mentoring will be provided from my side as well to ensure that you get highest possible marks both in the prelims and the mains examination whenever there is an economic related question. So thank you for watching this video. I hope that all of you enjoyed that. Do subscribe to this video and I'll see you in the next one.